welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Yes, it's been rather a while since the last episode. And what can I say about that other than that I had to take a break from KSP for a couple of weeks, for a little while, because strangely enough, it had become a little bit feeling like it was something of a chore. I don't know exactly why. I can't point to any one thing and say that's the reason. It's just that that's what happened. Not exactly a good thing. And as anybody who has ever been asked about important guidelines for making videos, one of the first things they tell you is to be doing something you enjoy. And for reasons I can't quite explain, don't really know myself, KSP wasn't being fun at the time. But I still have everything, we still have the save from before, and we're still going to take this Lime Bay Rover 2, the most recent incarnation of the Lime Bay Rover, and we're going to put this thing down on the surface of Minmus. Let's see. Yeah, there's plenty of fuel in there. And we're going to do what we can to get some science. And I'm wondering if I just go ahead and drop a maneuver node, say here, maybe drag it off that way to give it a little bit of time. And then just start dropping in chunks of retrograde. Because with this mission, it doesn't quite matter so much where we land, so long as we land. I should make for a nice vertical descent. Tighten it up just a little bit more. Okay. Looks good to me. We'll see. We don't know our burn time, of course, so I'm going to just give it 1 minute. You'd think that the burn time estimate could say, okay, we have these engines active, they have this much thrust capability, we have that much fuel, the ship has this much mass, here's your estimated burn time. Whether or not you've actually fired the engines before, just assume a burn at full thrust and throw up an estimation, correct it as needed as you go. Alright, let's bring up the Smart ASS to get lined up with our maneuver node and our flight stats so that we know what we're doing here. And I'm going to turn on force roll at 0 degrees so that we will be wheels down to the ground. Go into free camera mode. And we are just over 5 minutes away from burn time. So we'll use a little bit of time warp here. And let's bring up the surface information so that we have our altitude, surface speed, and so on. Okay. Coming over a rather high mountain here. Two minutes and a half before the burn. And I think I'm going to let the burn be a little late and not do it right over this mountain. Let's see. Altitude true. That's the one we at 20 kilometers. I think we got room. Okay, we can do it here. Alright, let's do a quick test burn. 27 seconds. So we burn at about, say, 14 seconds. T minus 14. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and have Smart ASS hold us on retrograde. And we're going to come to a stop right over this plateau. And then see about getting ready to descend. FLT 800s, 2 of them completely full. And we've got these guys, the Mark 55 radial mount engines, to slow our vertical descent on landing and to provide our takeoff thrust when it's time to go. Oh, I've passed the node. Well, that's all right. Let's go ahead and do our burn. Most of our horizontal velocity killed this way. Okay. And now we're rotating to maintain a retrograde attitude. Put that marker right in the middle of the nav ball. That looks pretty close. Turn that off. Hold that attitude for the moment. Okay, horizontal speed 12 meters a second. Thrusters. Let's see if we can't get rid of that last little bit of horizontal. Well, we've still got plenty of altitude. Not doing so good. Surface. No, stay on retrograde. Stay on retrograde. That'll be our best option to kill horizontal and vertical velocity at the same time. Not working so great. Turn this off. Push it down like so. And now hold that right there. Come on. Oh, for crying out loud. I know what the problem is. There's no thrusters down here. And maybe I need to have a little more thruster fuel for this part of the operation. on the next edition of the ship. Alright, now I need the heading to be, say, the opposite of 270. Alright, heading 90, roll 0, pitch 0, go, execute, quickly. We are descending, only 19 kilometers before the surface. And I'd like to be at very nearly a 0 velocity when we get there. Little things like, I don't want to explode, you know, things like that. Because contrary to popular belief, explosions are no fun at all. Alright, killing horizontal velocity. Not paying any attention to vertical just yet. Oops. All right. 265. Go. Quickly. There's only 18 kilometers left till we hit the surface. Fortunately, you don't accelerate downward very fast on Minmus, or above Minmus, what have you. Let's get our surface horizontal speed preferably down below 1 meter per second. I guess that's not going to happen. All right. Point retrograde now, which is going to be basically engine down. Stop that vertical velocity. Perhaps we can do it slow enough that we don't accelerate horizontally in the process. We are decelerating now. And I know we're accelerating horizontally, but I think we can compensate for that. Just going back and forth here. Heading, well, if it would, oh, it's showing its current heading, where the ship is pointing. It's not showing what the direction of movement is. Yeah. All right, just a second. That's been bugging me. Okay, that's going to be the trick, is figuring out what direction we're moving in. I don't know if this is going to be any use or not. No, it isn't. Okay, I think it's time to get rid of this lower stage. And let's make sure we have control from here in the cockpit. Thrusters on. Wait a minute. How about this? Docking mode. Thrust away from that thing. And reduce our horizontal speed doing it. Okay. There we go. Horizontal speed coming down. Get that down to like 1 or 2 meters a second, and then we can touch down without being worried about explosions. There we go. That's what we want. 12 kilometers to the surface. Okay. Let's go back to staging mode. Fire our descent engines. Get our vertical speed under control. Looks like we get a reasonably flat spot to land on. And plenty of fuel. Oh, we're ascending now. Okay. Staging mode for a second and see what we can do about this horizontal velocity. Get that down as low as possible. Very good. Horizontal velocity now measured in millimeters per second. All right. Now that's cool. Less than 200 millimeters per second. Now all we need to concern ourselves with is vertical velocity. Oh, let's go back to staging mode so that we can use the vertical descent engines. We do want to continue descending, we just want to do it gently. It's kind of funny how the wheels are spinning like crazy here. Okay, we've got like 8 of these batteries and 8 static solar panels here, so power's good as long as we have sunlight. Okay, we're 11 kilometers from the surface. I'm just going to babysit this thing on the way down. I will cut back in when we are much closer. Okay, we're down to just under 5 kilometers from the surface. Time for another braking burn. And that's enough. And each braking burn seems to accelerate a little bit because it's tipping the ship forward. But fortunately, only a little bit of thruster action is required to fix that. .4 kilometers from the surface and descending. Risk just a little bit of time warp so that we can get down to the surface sometime today. Ground scatter showing up. Apply some braking, slow and gentle. Some braking thrust on the horizontal. .1 kilometers from the surface. I do notice one thing here. This fairing piece, it is attached to the lower side of the engine, and I got a sneaky feeling that engine is not going to provide any thrust because of that fairing piece in the way. This would be not a good thing. Let's turn the ship to 90 degrees, which seems to be the direction it's moving. Just a little bit of braking thrust. Keep it below 10 meters per second vertical. Sneak in some more time warp. Just one notch of it though. For some more braking thrust. Got our lights on. Let's turn the brakes on. So that when the wheels finally do touch down, we'll be able to stop right away. Don't want it rolling around until we actually want to roll around. .275 meters from the surface. hard to gauge where the shadow's going to show. Oh, there it is. Continuing deceleration. Going for a nice gentle touchdown here. .72 meters to go. Nice and easy. Horizontal speed is nil. Touchdown speed is nice and low. 12 meters. 11, 10. 4 meters. Engines off. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the surface. We have very little ground clearance, so this thing isn't going to take attitude transitions very easily, like going over hills and stuff, but we can try it. Okay, let's turn that off. We're not using it. Okay. I guess the first thing to do get a crew report. Well, we're not getting any science for it, so let's not bother. Alright. EVA. And I'm probably going to regret this. First of up, let's get an EVA report. Yeah, we can get some science for that. And we'll let go. Surface sample. We'll keep that 150 science. Ooh yeah. EVA report. Oh, already got one. Okay. All right. Now let's see if we can get him back on the ship. And soon, because I just noticed that the thrusters are running. Oh, you... Oh. Did I tell you I was going to regret sending him on EVA? I positively hate doing EVAs. I'll tell you the honest to God truth. I really do. Because I don't care what anybody says, these little buggers are very difficult to control. Okay, got him back aboard. Turn that off. And turn the RCS off. How much do we have left? 228. Okay. We got him back aboard. And let's see, what kind of terrain are we on here? Observe mystery goo, Minmus lowlands. Well, we're good for 50 science if we get this thing back to Kerbin, so do that. Materials bay. 125 science if we recover it. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm really concerned about this engine with the fairing piece stuck on the back of it, whether we're going to get any thrust out of it or not. If we don't, it means that I'm going to have to keep these engines and use them to get back to Kerbin. And that's going to be fun because they're 90 degrees offset from the rest of the ships. You know, they're intended for descent and ascent engines. They're not intended to be used as a way to get home, but we may end up having to do that. Alright. Brakes off. Okay. Let's drive around a bit. Now this is one of the higher peaks on Minmus, and it's still Minmus lowlands. That was disappointing. But having these better wheels rather than aircraft landing gear, we've got better ability to move. We actually have the wheel power. I'm still thinking we hit one good bump and these engines are going to explode. As a matter of fact, one good bump and this whole frickin' thing is going to explode because it has almost no ground clearance. Need to fix that in the next edition of this vehicle. Go staging mode. I'm going to activate this briefly, and I'm going to turn these off. And then I'm going to try throttling this up to see if we get any thrust out of it. We are not accelerating. We're burning fuel like crazy, but we're not accelerating. Guess what? I think I'm going to end up having to use these guys to get this thing back into orbit. And then rely on another ship coming out here to take these guys home. Oh, wait a minute. We've got this science on this thing. We want this whole ship to come home. Let's go ahead and observe our mystery goo again. 50 science on recovery. Okay, fine. I can't do a control from here on an engine, can I? Of course not. I don't have a single part on this ship facing in a direction that would make control from here on these work good for these engines. Oh good, I could jettison the engine. But this fairing-based thing, I can't do a bloody effing thing with. I can jettison my other engines, I can jettison my wheel frame. Okay. I guess the next mission for this ship is going to be, can we get it back to Kerbin? Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.